AVS Media Demo.
Shadows and Tall Trees. The pig run kept close to the jumble of rocks that lay down by the water on the other side, and Ralph was content to follow Jack along it. If you could shut your ears to the
AVS
slow
Media
suck down
Demo.
of the sea and boil of the return, if you could forget how dun and unvisited were the ferny coverts on either side, then there was a chance that you might put the beast out of mind and dream for a while. The sun had swung over the
AVS
vertical,
Media
and the
Demo.
afternoon heat was closing in on the island. Ralph passed a message forward to Jack, and when they next came to fruit, the whole party stopped and ate. Sitting, Ralph was aware of the heat for the first time that day. He pulled
AVS
distastefully
Media
at his
Demo.
grey shirt and wondered whether he might undertake the adventure of washing it. Sitting under what seemed an unusual heat even for this island, Ralph planned his toilet. He would like to have a pair of scissors and cut this hair. He flung the mass
AVS
back,
Media
cut
Demo.
this filthy hair right back to 1/2 an inch. He would like to have a bath, a proper wallow with soap. He passed his tongue experimentally over his teeth and decided that a toothbrush would come in handy too. Then there were his
AVS
nails.
Media Demo.
Ralph turned his hand over and examined them. They were bitten down to the quick, though he could not remember when he had restarted this habit, nor any time when he indulged it. Be sucking my thumb next? He looked round furtively.
AVS Media
Apparently
Demo.
no one had heard. The hunters sat, stuffing themselves with this easy meal, and trying to convince themselves that they got sufficient kick out of bananas and that other olive-grey, jelly-like fruit. With the memory of his sometime clean self as a standard,
AVS Media
Ralph looked
Demo.
them over. They were dirty, not with the spectacular dirt of boys who have fallen into mud or been brought down hard on a rainy day. Not one of them was an obvious subject for a shower, and yet hair much too long, tangled here and
AVS
there,
Media Demo.
knotted round a dead leaf or a twig. The faces cleaned fairly well by the process of eating and sweating, but marked in the less accessible angles with a kind of shadow. Clothes worn away, stiff like his own with sweat, put on not
AVS
for
Media
decorum or
Demo.
comfort, but out of custom. The skin of the body scurfy with brine. He discovered with a little fall of the heart that these were the conditions he took as normal now, and that he did not mind. He sighed and pushed away the
AVS
stalk
Media
from which he
Demo.
had stripped the fruit. Already the hunters were stealing away to do their business in the woods or down by the rocks. He turned and looked out to sea. Here, on the other side of the island, the view was utterly different. The filmy enchantments of
AVS
mirage
Media
could not
Demo.
endure the cold ocean water, and the horizon was hard, clipped blue. Ralph wandered down to the rocks. Down here, almost on a level with the sea, you could follow with your eye the ceaseless, bulging passage of the deep-sea waves.
AVS Media Demo.
They were miles wide, apparently not breakers or the banked ridges of shallow water. They travelled the length of the island with an air of disregarding it and being set on other business. They were less a progress than a momentous rise and fall of the
AVS
whole
Media
ocean.
Demo.
Now the sea would suck down, making cascades and waterfalls of retreating water, would sink past the rocks and plaster down the seaweed like shining hair. Then pausing, gather and rise with a roar,
AVS Media
irresistibly
Demo.
swelling over point and outcrop, climbing the little cliff, sending at last an arm of surf up a gully, to end a yard or so from him in fingers of spray. Wave after wave, Ralph followed the rise and fall,
AVS
until
Media
something of the
Demo.
remoteness of the sea numbed his brain. Then gradually the almost infinite size of this water forced itself on his attention. This was the divider, the barrier. On the other side of the island, swathed at
AVS
midday with
Media
mirage,
Demo.
defended by the shield of the quiet lagoon, one might dream of rescue. But here, faced by the brute obtuseness of the ocean, the miles of division, one was clamped down, one was helpless, one was condemned,
AVS Media Demo.
Simon was speaking almost in his ear. Ralph found that he had rock painfully gripped in both hands, found his body arched, the muscles of his neck stiff, his mouth strained open. "You'll get
AVS
back to where you
Media
came
Demo.
from." Simon nodded as he spoke. He was kneeling on one knee, looking down from a higher rock which he held with both hands. His other leg stretched down to Ralph's level. Ralph was puzzled and searched Simon's face for a clue.
AVS Media
"So
Demo.
big. I mean..." Simon nodded. "All the same. You'll get back all right. I think so, anyway." Some of the strain had gone from Ralph's body. He glanced at the sea and then smiled bitterly at
AVS
Simon.
Media Demo.
"Got a ship in your pocket?" Simon grinned and shook his head. "How'd you know, then?" When Simon was still silent, Ralph said curtly, "You're batty." Simon shook his head violently, till the coarse black
AVS
hair flew
Media
backwards
Demo.
and forwards across his face. "No, I'm not. I just think you'll get back all right." For a moment nothing more was said. And then they suddenly smiled at each other.